Good evening, everyone, on this Monday, the 18th of July. Welcome back to the Recce Report. I am Russ, former warrant officer, Royal Signals and Adjutant General Corps.
Yeah, good evening, folks. I'm Cliff, former corporal with the Queen's Own Highlanders and the Royal Army Medical Corps.
So thank you for joining us this sunny afternoon. It's just way too warm for Scotland. No right to be that way. We are coming at you live streaming from the Independence Live Facebook page. And if Kevin, our puppet master who pulls all the strings, has done his job, we're also streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. So hello everyone. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you for coming on board. So anyway, Cliff, it's been what, 5 weeks since we were last on?
Yeah, yes.
And obviously nothing's been happening politically in that time at all, has it?
No, it's been let's face it, Russ, it's been one of those quiet episodes in British politics. Apart from the non-resignation that happened the other week there.
Yes, our buddy Boris.
Yes. If anybody honestly thought that Johnson was going to go to that lectern in Downing Street and say, right, yeah, I'm bad, I'm off. Yeah, they clearly have not been studying his form at any of his previous jobs. Because he never takes responsibility for his actions. He never takes responsibility for those that he's in charge of. Yeah, and he certainly never resigns. I think I'm right in saying he's actually been fired from every job he's had. He's never actually resigned. And two, I guess, his mentality, that makes lots and loads of sense.
Yeah, he's even his resignation speech was all recriminations, and it wasn't me, Miss Big Boys did it and ran away.
Yeah. At one point he was blaming the herd in Westminster for getting rid of him. Yeah. Isn't that normally referred to as a political party? I mean,
yeah.
Can't they leave the insults of the Conservative and Unionist Party to those that are actually fighting against them at elections? You know, there's no need for him to chip in. We get by with our own insults.
Yeah, and even then, he's the caretaker Prime Minister at the moment, so we don't get rid of him for another 6-7 weeks, is it?
Something along that lines, which kind of then asks, what the heck has Dominic Raab been getting paid for?
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to ask what the heck Dominic Raab is getting paid for. But
what are any of them getting paid for?
Yeah. Is he not supposed to be the deputy PM, and he would have stood in as caretaker, as anybody with the slightest bit of craft or ability to read a room would have gone off into the sunset at Boris Johnson, and Dominic Raab would then be caretaker, getting propped up by left, right and centre within the party, and that's the way it would have gone. But no, Johnson is hanging on to September. He had, instead of chairing a Cobra meeting the other day, he was having a bit of a swally over at Chequers.
Yeah, of course.
The old, I'm right in saying it's the official residence of the PM in the country. So, I mean, does that fall under grace and favour category? Or is that a royalty thing?
The rules don't apply to Boris. We know this now. We know that he has never been held responsible for anything he's ever done in his entire life. As you say, he's been fired from every job he's ever had, and comes bouncing back like the grinning clown that he is.
Yeah.
And certain segments of society lap it up, mate.
Yeah.
Lap it up.
It's that carefully crafted
buffoonery.
I'm a dead friendly person, like the bodies pile high.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can be a lovable person and come out with a statement like that?
I mean, I hate to say it, he's a pound shop Trump, and Trump was a pound shop Trump. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. He's a very fruit. Yes, one could almost say he's a lampoon of himself.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So he's history. Hopefully in the very, very near future. which means that we have all the fun and japes at the moment of the high stakes game that is a Tory leadership contest.
Yeah,
or how to pick the worst of a bad bunch.
the race to the bottom of the pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been watching any of it? Have you been watching any of the debates?
I haven't watched the debates. I'll wait for the written stuff to come out. Watching the debates, basically, I like my TV. I also like it in the position it's in. So there's one or two programs I'm absolutely banned from watching in the house, to do with blood pressure, etc. So no, I just get the written reports from various sources thereafter. Because seeing what we're down to at the moment, 5.
Yeah, well, what do you think of the candidates so far? So we're down to 5 at the moment because Suella Braverman has now been ejected from the race.
Yeah.
So she was the Attorney General, if you remember.
Yes, yeah.
So she was, I think the nickname they gave her was Cruella because she was being, was she talking about was that her talking about fixing boats? Was that her?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't think she was too extreme for the Tories. I just think I just think they had other people who were more extreme that could be more palatable to the voters.
Yes, that's to the Tory voter.
So what do you think of the candidates so far? So there's 5 left.
Yes.
Obviously, the front runners at the moment are Rishi Sunak and Captain Pamela Mordaunt.
Yes.
Royal Naval Reserve.
Yeah, what was it? Royal Naval Reserve? Because I'm dashed if I can actually find any record about her naval service.
She's an honorary captain.
An honorary captain. So she's a bit like Ruth Davidson being an honorary colonel.
Yes, and what's her face that used to be on Countdown? She's an honorary.
Vorderman, Carl Vorderman.
Yeah, she's an honorary wing commander, I think.
With the air cadets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penny was a sub-lieutenant in the Royal Naval Reserve, which, for those of you who don't know, is a training rank. There's no such rank in in the Royal Navy regulars. Sub-lieutenant is an officer training rank, and she never progressed beyond that. She didn't finish her training. As far as I'm aware, she's not been paid in any capacity by the Royal Naval Reserves for the past 7 years. Right. But she does proudly proclaim to have been in the Navy. I think one MP said that she fought in the Navy.
Grief. And this experience she's going to use to break down the SNP control of Scotland, is it?
Right. She's a pound shop Thatcher, isn't she?
Yeah.
It's all bluster with these people.
Yes, absolutely. She is. Yeah, sorry, Russ.
Well, I'm saying that they're not trying to sell themselves to Scotland, because the people in Scotland that vote Tory are always going to vote Tory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hardline Tory vote. She is appealing to the Middle England UKIP light hardcore unionists in England, because that's who votes them in.
Yes, absolutely. And talking of UKIP, like we got Kemi.
Oh, yeah, Kemi Badenoch.
Yeah.
That was outrageous. The stuff she was coming out with, wasn't it?
Oh, I was reading that. And I'm thinking, has this actually been, has this come from someone within the UK? It just shows you how far that party has lurched to the right. I mean, they haven't lurched to the right. They're building bridges and extensions way over on the right. Yeah.
I've seen sorry, did you see the thing that Femi did? Femi was on one of the round robin shows, and they said, shouldn't you be proud of the fact that that there's a black woman who is vying for the top spot for being Prime Minister of the country? And he pointed quite rightly, in this case, her skin color it's bigotry. It's her policies that matter.
Yes.
In what she was saying, the stuff she went out with would be abhorrent no matter what bloody skin color she had.
Yeah, it seems to be who could be the most nastiest.
Yeah.
We got, of course, Liz Truss. Bless her cotton socks. She can't even find a way out a room with
Yeah.
one door in it. Okay, we've all been in strange rooms. Me and you, Russ, have stood in places, delivered spiels,
Yeah.
and it's been new to us. But basic things are, where's the exit?
Where's,
Yeah.
where's the way out? Well, that's basic military stuff, man. Whenever you give a presentation, methods of instruction, remember that?
Yeah.
The first thing you do, the fire exits are situated
Yeah.
to the rear of the
Yeah.
building.
Get your air
The,
stewardess
yeah,
hat on. Yeah.
the muster point is the car park.
Yeah.
If you don't know where that is, follow me because I'll be running towards it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, they did a series of photographs of Liz Truss, and they are exactly the same style of photographs as was taken for Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, she was wearing the same style of clothes, wasn't she? With the
Yeah,
kind of
same style
weird
cast,
bow thing.
holding a calf in a military vehicle, all
Yeah.
this type of stuff, and it's just Thatcher. I mean, I think we can judge Liz Truss on the fact that she went to. Uh, sorry, just comment come up there. Yeah, we can judge Liz Truss on the fact she went to Moscow and Putin invaded Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got Lieutenant Colonel Tom Tugendhat,
Yes.
another reservist, army reservist.
Yes, what I did in the army.
Yeah, you wouldn't know he's been in the army because he's barely mentioned it.
No. And I believe he's not a firm favourite of the veterans either.
He's not, mate. He's not. But before I move on to that, given we have five candidates, contestants, mile outs left. Two of them are going to be ejected tonight. They're voting now. The results should be about 8 o'clock. Right. So two of those five are going to be knocked off the pedestal. Who do you think is going to be knocked out tonight?
Well, we haven't mentioned Rishi yet. Sunak.
Oh yeah, Rishi. Well, he's leading the pack, isn't he? I think he's going to be until the end, mate.
Yeah, I think it's highly ironic that he keeps mentioning how he's going to fix
the economy.
Yeah. Yeah. It so reminds me of Blackadder's sketch. Blackadder Goes Forth, where where they're on about the rabbit getting shot because the dog was set on it. And Melchert is there giving it. Well, okay, I set the dog in it, but it was the kindest thing to do because it had been hit by the car. Yes, your car.
Yeah.
So
I always think it's similar to the Blackadder, where it's like, what's the plan? It's secret. Is it go over the top and walk really slowly towards the enemy? How could you possibly know that? That's classified. It's the same thing we've done 15 times before.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I think you're right. He'll probably be into the end, but he won't. I don't think get.
I think tonight. I think Kemi will be out tonight.
Yep.
I've got a funny feeling, although Tom Tugendhat's currently leading the pack, at the bottom, I think Liz Truss might be out tonight.
She's a bit of a what the heck's going on with Liz Truss? She's in a very poor grouping. She is incredibly poor. I'll quite happy go along with that one. We don't always disagree, by the way, viewers. Me and Russ, we have been known to disagree. But
Tom Tugendhat. So we have a bit of a history with Tom Tugendhat. He maybe doesn't know this because he won't remember it. But this is, our current Twitter looks like this, where we are sadly blocked by Lieutenant Colonel Tom Tugendhat, who's obviously clearly open to differing opinions and views. And how that happened, so I'm going to explain the history behind it, is that back in 2014, so a bit of a shimmy light, go back in time to 2014, he posted this rather lovely article on the Telegraph saying how Scotland's brave soldiers are denied a say to the country they defend, basically saying that Scottish soldiers weren't being allowed to vote. Now, for those of you that know me, or if even you don't, I spent the last 3-4 years of my army service being the unit electoral registration officer. So I was well aware that this was not true. I was going to let it go, but then Tom, in his wisdom, decided to highlight it on Twitter and link to the article he wrote. So I couldn't let that go. So I basically told him he was full of crap and gave him all the screenshots, all the links showing him he was wrong. Basically saying that Scottish cruisers could vote, they could register in an address they used to live at. He denied it, didn't happen. And then he blocked me, blocked us. So we are now. So if Tom Tugendhat does become Prime Minister, I think we can lay claim to being the first veterans group to be blocked by the Prime Minister. That'd be good, wasn't it? Yeah. And what I did find, and this is interesting, because after a while after I had this, because I've had this same argument so many times about voting, someone sent me this, and it's an email they sent to their local electoral registration office in Lothian, basically saying that they are living to serving the armed forces in Catterick, which was the group that Tom Tugendhat talked about. They've been told he can only register in Catterick, doesn't want to do that. He doesn't have an address in Lothian because his parents passed away. And he was asking what he could do. So the reply he got, and I've left the names on this, he got a reply from the Edinburgh Electoral Registration Office, basically saying, yes, you can. You can quite happily register on an address you used to live in. However, you need to register as a service voter, not an ordinary voter, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm taking this opportunity in front of everyone that's watching to justify that Tom Tugendhat was full of crap. He either misrepresented what was going on, or he believed wrongly what was going on, but he doubled down. And I, as per usual, was absolutely right, as everyone that knows me knows is always the case. Isn't that right, Cliff?
Absolutely, can't argue with that one, Russ, at all. Yeah, no, that's Tom. What he should have done was gone, yeah, okay, Russ, fair one, made a mistake. I'll get this out. Life's good. Politics, we all disagree about politics, but for him to actually, be so, is it cowardly, or I don't know.
It's just being precious, isn't it? It's that aspect of. Now, at that time in 2014, I don't think Tom Tugendhat wasn't an MP at that time, was he?
Right.
I think he was a candidate.
Right.
I don't think an MP at that time, and he would probably have been a major at that point. I don't think he was lieutenant colonel at that point either. Right. But it just shows you, what kind of leader of men does not hold their hands up when they've got it wrong.
Well, it goes back to integrity and honesty.
Fucking Boris, isn't it? Oh, swearing, sorry.
Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, for one. Yeah, and usually a unit or a grouping or a concern of business is only as good as those that lead. Well, Johnson is the lead, then everything else below it is corrupt, nasty, and evil. Which sort of thing we start thinking about this democratic deficit. Now, we had just released the second part to renewing democracy within independent Scotland.
This is the SNP Yes movement,
Scottish government.
Consultation paper.
Yeah, it's highlighting why it would be a good idea for Scotland to be independent. A couple of things. It's the second part. Both are about 58 pages long. Both have got sort of like 6 pages of references in them. So this is not something that's been cobbled together in the dark, dingy basement overnight. This is lots of people have put input and had a good effort at. So it covers obviously Scotland's place in the UK parliamentary system, including the House of Lords, the UK electorate system, the Scottish system, the UK law on that, and also democracy in the Scottish Parliament. How can we go about strengthening protections? Because there is a problem with it, because all roads lead to Westminster as far as politics in the UK goes, because we don't have a written constitution. It's all based on convention and good nature of those that are in command to yield at certain points. We have just had Johnson ride a coach and horse through that, on so many different occasions. So convention does not work. It only works if the people in charge are honourable people. And I don't care what politics they are. If they're honourable people, then they'll stick with the conventions. And that hasn't happened. So we are under threat. The devolved administrations across the UK are under threat. But we're talking about Scotland on this one. Now, obviously, then that has consequences. So the UK decisions that affect Scotland, failure to invest the oil revenues correctly. And yes, I will mention the three-letter word because it has been missed up. If you look at what Norway's been able to do and what the UK has been able to do. Austerity, leaving the EU, direct impactors on Scottish economy. So if any of us have not actually read this document yet, flick on to ScotGov. It's there. You can download a free PDF and have a read of it. If anybody within your family circle, your friends, are wanting to know a little bit more about what's going on with Scottish independence, why is it going to be a better option, start pushing this stuff out. It all adds to this getting the word out there, because sometimes we can be speaking speaking to ourselves a lot of the time, but we need to get the message out to those voters that will listen to us. Yep.
Yeah, here, Cliff. And I think part of it is that message. We're faced with the might of a Westminster-friendly media. Let's be fair. And I think, and that ties in quite nicely because I think where we're seeing that and where it's been fought quite successfully is the current, with the whole thing with the railways, where you've had Mick Lynch, the union leader, who's been wheeled out, and every mainstream media outlet has tried to make him look like a communist, like a Marxist, like this 1970s union leader. And he has come out, hasn't he? And he has just eviscerated everyone that's come across his path.
It's absolutely fantastic to watch. It really is, because this is what should be happening to the press. If the press make a comment, then they need to be held to account about it. But it's all been buddy system, and somehow or another, it has been allowed that anybody with a grievance in the workplace is automatically labelled as the person that is wrong, or the group of people. And Germany Hunt.
Germany Hunt.
Yeah, Germany.
No euphemism.
Jeremy Hunt, right? Managing to blame the junior doctors, or get the junior doctors to be held up as the enemy for the change in contracts is a really shining beacon of how nasty the compliance or the so-called free press. But the free press in the UK isn't so free. The last independence referendum, we had 45% of the vote. But we only had one Sunday newspaper.
Yeah, and the whole campaign started from about less than 25%-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah, and only one newspaper reporting on a Sunday about favourably about us. Now we've only got one daily and one Sunday, right? But that can't be the case. If roughly half the population of voters is wanting to be independent, then that has to be reflected in your press.
Yeah,
but it's not.
No, it's not. And the whole thing about propaganda, the best propaganda is when people don't realise that they're being manipulated. That's what makes propaganda good. If people don't know they've been influenced, then they're going to fight tooth and nail arguing against being influenced.
Yeah.
You have to look at, and maybe this whole scenario we've gone through the last few days with the whole Trump thing, wasn't it? Where he would deny that he'd said something he'd just been filmed saying.
Yeah.
And people would back him up. He'd say he didn't say that, but it's on film. It's fake news.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think it was Mick Lynch or the other fella that's been wheeled out, the RMT union guy, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. But he pointed out that the vast majority of people have not had a pay rise in the past 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Right? but profits of the FTSE 350 have gone up 70-something% in that same period.
Yeah.
So what's driving those profits? It's not workers' wages. And since when was it bad? Was it bad to give a worker a cost of living pay increase, but not bad to give a CEO a couple of billion quid in his back pocket? It's absolutely ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah, and that's the way we've allowed ourselves to get manipulated into, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think if you see that comment there from EM, a lot of people are ready to vote yes, but they just need the detail first. Again, you're absolutely right. You know, we are. That's partly why we do what we do, and we started doing this because the message being sent out was that soldiers and ex-soldiers were de facto unionists. You know, for you, those of you who don't know that, we met up again. I mentioned our puppet master Kevin at the beginning. He put a call out for veterans back in 2014, and each one of us, it's over a dozen of us turned up, wasn't it, Cliff? Each one of us that turned up thought we would be the only ones that supported independence. So the truth is, there's independent supporting veterans out there. You know, we are, you know, we're ex-British Army, but we're your sons, your daughters, your husbands, your wives. You know, we were, for most of us, we joined the army at a silly young age when we didn't know any better, and that's what we did. People out there who are ready to support independence, they just need to be shown the information so they can make their own mind up and not have that from a one-sided, skewed, biased Westminster controlled media.
I had an incredibly good chat a couple of weeks back, and some very senior officers are coming round to liking Nicola Sturgeon because of her leadership.
Yeah.
And if they start liking Nicola Sturgeon, that then brings the debate for independence out of the shadows, into the light within the serving community. Yeah, and then it's suddenly not a taboo subject. All right, so this is not 2014. You know, things have moved on, and they've definitely moved on. I think, Russ, right across the Independence Board, I think it's moved on for the benefit of the independence campaign.
No, you're right, Cliff, and I would point out that we need to recognise that, and I'll tell you why we need to recognise that, because the Better Together lot, they are going to repeat the same arguments that they had in 2014 because they have nothing else. There's nothing new for them to bring out, so we are already forewarned and forearmed. You know, the biggest thing that they had, well, the two biggest things they had back then was the EU. And the currency. And I'm going to tell you now that currency is a red herring. It really, really is. I don't have any particular romantic attraction to sterling. I've served all over the world. I've spent euros, I've spent Deutschmarks, I've spent pesetas, I've spent cardboard pogs in Afghanistan because that's what the Americans use. It's not the currency that matters. People generally won't care what the currency is as long as it buys what they need to buy. And when people ask, you know, what are you going to use for currency? And I'll say whatever you pay is for our oil, gas, renewables, technology, infrastructure, financial services,
whiskey, beef.
Yeah,
it is an absolute red herring. That's why I think this time round things are actually going to go smoother. I know that they haven't released details on it yet. Neither have they released details on the revamped defence structure either. But I having read both the documents that have been released so far, I am in good spirits on this one, Russ.
Yeah, and I think it's I think we're closer now than we've ever been. Now, whether you agree with the tactics that the way they've gone, that we've been a little bit too complacent with allowing Westminster to set the terms almost over the past few years, but we want to get it right. We want to get it right because if we don't this time, then that's it definitely for 20 years.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
So we need to get it right this time.
Absolutely. And talking about getting things right, young man, I
Yeah.
think that's us at the end of another show.
We are. Doesn't time fly when you're
Oh.
talking talking whatever it is we talk, and have everyone tune in. But no, again, it's been a cracking conversation. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be able to speak to you and spend this time here. Please tune in to us again. We're back normally on the second Monday of the month, so we'll see you again in August. Hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler then, but we shall see. So until then, good night everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as what Russ said. It's always a pleasure, highly honourable getting a chance to speak to you guys. Thanks for listening. Please tell your friends. Second Monday next month, we'll be there. Hope you guys are there. Thanks a lot.
Keep calm, folks. Take care.
Cheers.